Yo no tengo nada, pero mis palabras valen
Oh,
más.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, 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 what was that?
All right. Welcome to another stream here in the morning. One of the best Forex streams in the world, presented by the Forex family.
Sorry, man. I just unmuted myself with the music.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Wow, what a move here in GJ. This was just perfect.
Yeah, you called it yesterday.
Yeah, daily. It just had had cells. I had cells in Asian session. I knew it was early, so I got stopped out there. And then right before I went to bed yesterday, after playing Call of Duty with Jeevan and stuff, I took cells and went to bed. The stops were around like 133, 100.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, never even came up there.
Um,
Because this was a very strong support on the 4 hour that got broken yesterday, and then we almost had a return that just continued down. Look at this weekly wick being filled. Like we were talking about this too the other day. Yesterday we were talking about how this candle can flip bearish, and this was wow, man, 100 pips. I got like 40 pips out of it.
Yeah, I just closed out one of my other position too, because I was trying to fill in the weekly wick, but
Yeah.
I just closed out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I don't want is like a retracement for Wednesday and then wait for another drop on Thursday, you know?
Yep. I'm seeing on the lower time frame it's just building something, so I was like, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's reaching basically right now it's creating a low. It's creating a low to come up and create like another lower high, like a minor resistance to continue down.
Yeah, looking for that right now.
Yeah.
You think we'll see that in our session?
Excuse me?
You think we'll see that in our session?
Yeah, I mean, if there's a minor resistance formed, then theoretically it should continue down to retest the low wherever it's going to make the low right now. Like my target was 132.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I've kind of been thinking. Just waiting for that resistance to form and take it down.
Yeah.
And it looks good though. Like if it comes up and creates that little high, oh man, it's gonna be a nice trade.
Yeah, because look, there was a support here on the 4 hour got retested. This was another strong support all the way from like 5 days ago, like last week. Last week this support held, price went up, and now it broke it. So it will make just sense for it to like kind of retest it and continue moving down.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna be sniping that.
Yeah, I just gotta wait for that. You know, my lifelong wish is if people know how to mute themselves when they come on the Zoom chat. That's my lifelong wish.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So, Raja, do you expect price went going up on 132?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure which level it should cap, but like just looking on the 4 hour chart, it just makes sense. You know, it makes sense that it's coming down into a support area. So from in this area somewhere, we'll have like a retracement. Like price will kind of bounce up. You know, like we're not sure at which point it's going to bounce up, but the only thing I know is that there will be a bounce up. There will be a minor resistance formed, and once that resistance is formed, there's a very high chance the price will come down to retest the low. hopefully you are good. I don't know, like hopefully, I mean, it's just speculation, right? I'm speculating. Trading is all about speculating. Like trading is just like you're a doctor, you know, like a doctor is never perfect. The doctor never knows anything. The doctor is just like we're in a practice. Like doctors always practicing, you know, like medicine or health or pharmacy or whatever they do. It's just a practice. Trading is just like that. It's a practice. Every day you come on, you anticipate it, you like you do calculated agnostics on the chart, and then you base your decisions on that. You know, so with price falling this much from pre-London down to like 132, 160 right now, tapped 150. I mean, it just makes sense for it to kind of like, you know, retrace, because price can't go down forever. You know, and that retracement is going to be another opportunity to take shorts. That's what I'm looking at, GJ. This is my second position that ran after last week.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Looks like we're finishing the month off with a bang.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm not gonna say it was expected, but it was kind of expected for price to come down.
Yeah. Like yesterday, how it bounced back from London. It went up down to 133,500, and then it just dropped again. So you're expecting the same thing? A pullback, price going up and then coming down again.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Raja, did you already explain how you got in during London?
I got in at like 2 hours before pre-London, and it was around here when the 4-hour candle closed. Right here, it closed with no wick. So I said, okay, well, what are the chances that it's gonna go down? So I looked at the daily, the weekly, all like my entire high time frame analysis was bearish. Let's put it that way. You know, it was all bearish. So I took trades based on that. My stops were around 133, 100. You know, I used 5 lots. I didn't use my normal 10 lots. So, you know, it played out.
Yeah, very good. Okay, cool.
Went to bed, woke up, and price was at 132, 300. From up here to down here, I was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, this was such a great trade. Thank you, Raja.
Oh, you're still in it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I told you 132, 100. Oh wait, that's where we are.
Yeah.
It's a strong skill to have such a big trade open and go to sleep. It's good.
Well, I had my stop loss and profits anyways.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
It was also kind of like what we were discussing in the Asian session yesterday in the chat. Like someone said that it takes, like I could never open a trade and not being worried about it. While I was in cells yesterday in Asian, I did my workout, I made food, I showered, I went for a walk, and at the end I got stopped out. You know, it's just like knowing how much you're willing to risk. I mean, it took time to get over that though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as soon as you like, this is the thing. Yesterday morning, you put it perfectly. If the weekly candle flips bearish, we're going down, and people have to understand that. And we talked about that, and we talked about exactly the reason why that we wanted this area. It was because when you zoom out a bit on the weekly, it's very, very easy to see what we were looking at. And the first thing first was filling this wick, which we knew, but more importantly, as you start to move across, if you zoom out a little bit on the weekly there, Raja, what we were looking at was, as this started to flip, we had this information here. So this is a key takeaway for a lot of people, is we can see in past instances that price was very heavy in those areas, right? You can see that bodies of candles were finishing in that area. So probability dictates that it should fill that area there. And then what we say to ourselves, we say, well, where's a safe place? It's probably right here, because that's where sort of the bodies finish, right? Because you can see here now there's wicks here, wicks here. There's, we're in a wick right now, wick right here, and then obviously this one. So the idea is we fill this wick, your target gets hit, and then you exit the trade essentially at that point, or you move your stops and you manage the trade. But you have a set target, and you have to accept the fact that when we hit it, that's exactly what you wanted to see. Like you can't turn around and say, well, I wanted more. That's not how life works. You have to say, this is what I was expecting. I'm happy with the result. Like my take profits 132, 126.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, you're gonna hit it.
Yeah. But I mean, we explained it yesterday morning. So anyone who traded yesterday, it didn't really move for a long time. And they didn't really see, you didn't really see much happening after yesterday morning. It was only up until then that we actually started moving. But this is how you turn a scalp into a swing trade, right?
And because we're so close to the end of the month though, wouldn't that deter you from holding it? Or would that actually...
No, because once again, I mean, what we were looking at was a very, very straightforward opportunity, because of the fact that we had rejection over here, right? And as soon as we broke past this area and we broke into here, it was just a matter of it continuing to fall. But because we took the trade up here, it doesn't really matter what happens down over here, because we've already secured profits, like over here or over here, wherever you decided to secure profits. This is one of those opportunities where you turn around and you say, okay, what is my original target? So my original target's maybe 20 pips, 30 pips, which we got yesterday in the North American session. It dropped 30 pips. But then once you've locked up, 10 or 15 pips, you can say to yourself, hey, let's see how much we can hold this, because now looking at the weekly, I see a very nice target that we can hit at that point. I actually just closed it just for the sake of closing it, because I don't want it to reverse all the way. But that's ideally what you're trying to do, or what you're trying to say, is essentially, where can I go now on the longer term target? And we talked about that yesterday in the live stream. If anyone who wants to watch it, if you go to yesterday 5 or 10 minutes before the stream ends, we broke down this whole trade. The whole trade was broken down. So if you need to see how this trade was broken down, go to the last 30 minutes of yesterday's stream. Raja broke it down from the 15 minute, from the 30 minute, and then we broke all the way down to 132, 126, and that's the reason why that gray area was highlighted. So that was put down all the way, from start to finish, from your 30 minute all the way up to your weekly time frame. So you can definitely take a look, and you'll see everything. It was a very good trade.
Yeah, I was very happy with the way it turned out. I was kind of worried that this daily candle might have issues once it comes in this area, but nothing. It just drove.
Well, the great thing about this is, because we know the nuances of GJ, and all you had to do is, if you're ever looking at things, I mean, we look at this is a perfect example. Like this candle here rejects so hard and so strong. The next candle does the same thing. Your potential pitfalls are obviously over here, you know that, and then over here. But like you said, once you pass, you know, this section 1 over here, section 2 is obvious. You could place your stops right at the end of this, or you can go for the bigger opportunity, understanding that this daily candle is relatively fresh when it hits this area here, and you can say, hey, we're going to take it right to there. And now whatever happens, happens. Like, I don't care if it pulls all the way back. I don't really care at that point.
Yeah, I was waiting for some sort of retest, but look at those 30-minute candles. Where's the entry? I know the entry's at the top, but what I'm saying is, because I trade from, now, well, maybe an hour or so ago.
Yeah, there wouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's fine, because essentially this is weekly support, right? So why are we trying now to battle weekly support on a Wednesday, looking at the day when we have Thursday and Friday left, and we've already hit a big number, right? So this is an example of how could I have taken this trade? How could I have grabbed all this? Where would I have had to be in this area here? And what would have been my rationale? And I think Raja called it yesterday as we were closing the stream, saying just sell GJ.
I said just hold it.
Yeah, just hold it. But now, as a trader, you know at the weekly time frame, this weekly area here is very strong, so we're going to have a lot of problems perhaps. So you can't just jump into a trade arbitrarily.
Yeah.
What I'm kind of struggling a little bit with is the timing of when to take the trades. You know, what part of the month it is, what part of the week. Does that make sense? So it's like, because we're near the end of the month, and we're in the last week of the month.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, so basically, if you were looking for sells now, there were no entries. So basically, price is making a low. So what you would want to do is wait for price to create like a minor resistance for it to continue down to retest the low.
Yeah.
Like if you've missed this move down, you know it's making a low. You know, and if it makes a resistance, it's going to come down to retest the low. Just kind of like what someone posted a GU trade here. So they're looking for sells here. So two things can happen. Either we break these lows and continue down, or after this big move down, price may come up to make like a minor resistance and then continue down. Right? So there have been times where I've woken up in New York and I've seen price just like, how many times we've come to New York and we've seen GJ either rallying up or pushing down, and we've always looked at it and said that, okay, well, it has to make like a minor resistance. So if I'm coming in this New York, what I'm thinking is that, okay, we had a big move down, right? We reached a very, very strong support. You know, we cannot sell right now because the big move has already happened during London. You know, and if people trade in New York, they've missed it, obviously, you know, because they were either sleeping, busy, or that's really not their time to trade. So now you're looking for price to retrace, create resistance, and then take the sell down. So it doesn't really matter if it's, I mean, if you're swing trading, then you're looking at the month close or the daily or the weekly close. But if you're taking trades based off inter-day sessions, then you're looking at like, you know, the 1 hour, the 30-minute, because like in the grand scheme of things, the 1 hour and the 30-minute, they don't really matter when you're looking at the monthly or the weekly, because they're so small, they're so minute.
Yeah, it's more so when the scalp turns into a swing. And how can you anticipate that these big moves are going to happen?
Oh, you can never anticipate. I mean, this one on the weekly, I knew it's going to head down to fill the wick, right? And I tried this 4 times. 4 times my runners got stopped out at break even, right?
So okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so yesterday I took the trade, I took the risk. I'm like, okay, you know, if it runs, it runs. If it hits me at stop loss, then so be it. You know, so if you look at my history, I had one runner for 120 pips last week, and between that time and today, I've attempted runners 6 more times, and all 6 times they've been stopped out at break even. Right. So now, if I calculate percentage, there's only been 15% chance that my runner is gonna go into profits,
Yeah.
or like a big swing trade.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Just gonna look at some charts over here.
No problem. Good. Thank you for the explanation. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. No problem. Waiting for bearish candle to form. Well, yeah, it makes sense. This here on GU. Look for sells. I still think there's going to be a pullback to make like a minor resistance. Because I mean, selling here is very risky because we don't know how price is going to react to this level. I mean, I certainly don't know that. EJ sells. Oh, nice. I think this was a sell stop that got activated. So,
And on GJ, once we hit that target at 132 even, I don't know why I have zoned out that my next target would be 131 200, which is like 80 pips down, 80 pip, yeah, an 80 pip range.
yep. Yeah, so let's just focus on what's being presented right now. This is why I only focus on what's being presented in the moment. In the moment we see, well, I've repeated this a lot of times so you guys know what's going on. Looks like gold may come down on the 4-hour here as well.
Yeah, I'm looking for gold to break 1700. That support. If it does break it.
And did you trail your stops at all, Raja, in this GJ trade?
No, I was sleeping.
Yep. Cool.
Oh, I thought you were up. You left the runner from last night.
It was kind of like, wake up, TP, that's it. Good night.
That's actually what I did yesterday. I woke up in London. I took a trade, literally like a 5-minute trade, and I went back to sleep.
Beautiful.
I'm not gonna wake up for New York.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he took a buy when everybody else was selling.
Oh yeah, Yasmin, you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was yesterday, right?
Yeah, I had a sell on that at the time.
Oh yeah, you got.
Yeah, I got hammered.
Yeah, because I mean it was 3 a.m. my time, London volume, and he was rejecting already to the bottom. So I knew for a fact it was gonna push up, get some rejection to the upside, and
Very good.
continue up. And that was it. I didn't leave a run, and I should have, but I closed at 20 pips, and called it a day.
So AUD USD support made 10 pip stop below the previous candle once entered. Yeah, I think this 30-minute candle, the previous one closed like a small body. So I mean, you would want this current one to close with a strong body as well to give you some indication that okay, now there's a lot of volume for it to continue up. Might be able to look at the 1 hour too. I'm probably gonna just watch. I'm probably gonna not trade. I'm just gonna watch. You know, I'm gonna watch to see, like, obviously price is falling right now. I'm gonna watch to see if we retrace to create like a minor resistance. So I may take another entry to continue down, but so far I'm just watching. Can you look at EJ? Seems to be a nice setup, but price is pretty far away. I think I sent my analysis on EJ yesterday. Let's take a look here. Price breaking support, making a lower low. Yes, so you would need candles to keep closing below this area. If I look at EJ here, I wonder how I marked up my chart. Okay, so the next area I have way down here, 115. 4 hours also breaking below the support. 1 hour is also breaking below the support. Right here, this is the support you have. The 30-minute is also breaking below that support. So I mean, realistically, if you're thinking that EJ is going to continue moving down, you're placing stops at around 115, 620. Because if this is going to be the breakout candle, then price should not come up and break the high of the breakout candle. You know, and this is also within the range. You know, so price should have no business going up over here, because if price comes up and breaks the high over here, then there's a higher chance price is now going to go back in the range and start ranging. So that's one thing I'm going to tell someone who's trying to take sales to be cautious about. Cautious about.
Cautious about.
I don't know how to get my image link from Trello. Oh. Trello. Let's take a, oh, okay. Oh, nice. Potential entry. Oh, very nice. Need to learn how to coordinate risk management analysis. I tend to take trades later. I think this was pretty good. Pretty good that you took trade after this confirmation here on the 15 minutes. If you look back on GJ, going back to Daniel's point that he wouldn't have known when to enter, I think this was a really good entry here. That as price came down, made a low on the 15 minute, we had the retracement, a resistance formed, and then continuation. Oh, we did tap 132 here. Perfect. Yeah, you know, so whenever you miss moves, always look to see how could you have caught the move. What could you have done? So now, before we were looking at the 30 minutes and we were looking over here, we're like, yeah, you know, there wasn't enough. There was no confirmation to enter. But now when someone posted a chart, it made sense on the 15 minute now. The price did in fact come down to make a low. So if you look on the 30 minute, it did create a wick over here, but it was also at a support. But the momentum was so bearish, it just had to, you know, retest the low. Oh wow, G just
couldn't you argue that wasn't enough range on that 15-minute resistance?
You could still argue that, but there was like 12, but then you're playing it based off the higher time frames.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing it like, then you're putting your trust in it that, okay, what are the chances that price is going to continue down to 132, or what are the chances that price is going to come down here and then go all the way back up? So your probability comes into play at that time, I think.
Yeah, see, Raja, I was looking at that when that 15-minute closed bearish, but on the second bearish 15-minute, as we were looking at before, this one here, whoops, the second one, this one, that was the open of the new 4 hour.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, is this 4 hour going to make the big wick up? And then potentially, and it's like it already went. So
yeah, see, these things, when you start looking at GJ, you start to take into account different scenarios how GJ could play out. I've been looking at GJ for a very long, like 2 years, and sometimes it makes a wick, sometimes it just drops.
Yeah,
you know, so now most trades I take on GJ, I expect it to just keep on running. So these are all like learning notes that you take, you know, like when you miss moves, you note down, you're like, okay, I saw this happen, I I anticipated it, I didn't enter, so maybe next time I'll be more prevalent to enter. Like I've missed these London moves all the time, but now once every 2 weeks I catch it. It feels good because now I'm catching the moves.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, got this chart coming in.
I think people have to remember that too. There's like the amount of times you get stopped out on these big moves before they actually happen is extraordinary. I mean, to catch one, like I always say, I always consider it marlin fishing. I mean, if you're going out for a big fish, you're not going to catch it every day. It's once in a while. Like, I mean, this was a 90 pip move for myself. I haven't done that with GJ in, I would say, 6 months, 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a weekly occurrence. It's not something that I go for, but it's like if the timing is correct, then yeah, you obviously take it, right? Yesterday I got stopped out. I mean, I think I look at this week as I've traded. Like the last 3 days, I've been stopped out of in profit in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So out of 5 trades, I've been stopped out 5 times. Or sorry, out of 10 trades, I've been stopped out 5 times with minimal profit.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just one of those things. You just keep hacking away at it, and you get a trade, and that one trade makes up for the rest of the times you've been stopped out.
And so, do you always go for the runner? Is that?
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, you're always going to want to see what you can get the maximum out of something, right? That's why I get stopped out a lot too, because I'm always trying to anticipate the larger move, right? You want to always try and grab as much as you can, but you also want to be happy with what you're securing, right? So my stop loss is what I'm content with. Like there's trades here that I made $800, and that covered my commission, so I'm okay with that, right? Like I accept. As soon as you accept your outcome, then you're okay. The problem is people don't want to accept that outcome, right? Because at one point that trade was up 40 pips, and that was like $40,000. People would have been like, "Oh man, you just missed out on that." But I have to accept that. If I want something bigger, I need to be comfortable with saying, "Hey, there's a potential that this is the minimum I'll get." You have to be accepting of both the minimum and the maximum. You can't have it in between. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say, "Well, I want the medium-sized move, so I'm going to secure here, but then I could have gotten more." It's like you got to go for it, or you got to just take what's in front of you.
Yeah. So looking back at it now, and looking at your results when you led a runner, and when you secured everything, do you what's the word? Not so much regret, but do you find yourself that you would have done better if you'd secured earlier instead of letting the runners run?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because there's the 5 trades I've been stopped out here with gold. It ran up, it ran up 30, 40 pips, and I've collected. Here I collected 1 pip. Here I collected basically nothing. I took a loss essentially because I only made $100. Here I collected 3 pips. Here I collected 1 pip. Here I collected no pips. Break even. So yeah, I mean, in each one of those instances, I had a minimum of 10 pips because I was able to move my stop loss to above break even.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I accepted that, but I'm not worried too much about the fact that happens. I'm worried about making sure that I don't effectively take in a loss, but I have effectively in 2 positions because I got stopped out before it slipped me into my commission. So I actually lost money on those trades.
Okay. Yeah.
This is UJ chart here. This is question. This is the weekly wick. Okay, it's too far away. Already in sells, all time frame bearish, 4-hour high. Your stop loss is up over there. Yeah, it makes sense. I think it's still risk. I think a better would be below this support over here. That'll be much better. But if this works, the stop is there. You know how much you're risking. Then that's awesome. You have a plan for the game. Oh, nice. GJ 30 minute. Oh, nice. Entry went cross over here. Beautiful. Most people caught these sells in GJ. Create resistance. Yeah, on USD CAD, I think a break of this support would be a much better, easier trade. Break of that support.
Jeez, should have had set up my alarm for 3 o'clock.
For gold to go down, I think you need gold to break below 1702 for it to continue bearish, because that's a support gold is at. 1702, 1703 support, and you have this minor resistance at like 1707. Could you explain why sometimes you place your zones at the wicks and other times you place them at the bodies? Well, yeah, so I mean, I could place it over here, but I'm placing it here because this is where it's rejecting. You have to place it where it's rejecting. You know, if you look at GJ, if you look on the GJ, let's say the 4 hour, this makes sense because this is the previous area where price rejected, so it made sense here. So zones are very subjective. You know, there's not like a concrete formula where you're gonna place your zones. You develop these zone forming ideas as you go along, as you see different charts, as you do like, you know, various analysis. So then you kind of like ballpark the zone. So, you know, now when you go to the 30 minute or the 15 minute, yeah, I think that's a really good support area there. Looks like your JPY is indeed heading down for people who took sells.
So basically, the plan is just a way for us to make, I mean, for GJ to make some sort of support, get some retest on the way up, and then continue down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's wait.
AUD USD ranging. Yep, looks good. I think if you zoomed in this area here, you'll see price much better. Because if you're drawing a zone over here and you're taking the trade based off this support, then I don't think this trend line counts. Because sometimes, you know, what's going to happen is that you'll have trend lines and you're going to have support resistance, right? So your support resistance is going to tell you something else, but the trend line is going to, like, you know, contradict that. So then you wouldn't know what to do. So I think it's really important to just have one technical, what's the word? Technical analysis? No, like a technical style or indicator there on the screen. Yeah, technical indicator.
Yeah, when you get too many, it definitely confuses it. Sometimes I find.
Yeah.
Because then you go into a resistance area and then you think, oh, it's going to resist here, and then it just blasts right through it, and then you sort of cut your trade short.
Yeah. Cut it short, you're like, oh, I knew it. But at the same time, I wouldn't expect gold to break because you have news here like in an hour and a half and you got FOMC later on. So it'll be pretty hard not to crack till FOMC. I mean, if you have news, I mean, moves before that, then so be it. But I think there's very high volatility news later on. Oh, what's this? US 100 broke uptrend. You think move to bottom is valid? I think it's valid, but then you run into some issues as price comes down to this area here, because there's a gap here, right? So now you need to see why did this gap happen. There's a support, there was a resistance. The price chart is too zoomed out, so I can't really pinpoint areas, but yeah, that's about it. You're also forming a minor support over here too. Oh, there's an interesting question. What's the probability of GJ's price retracing to 132,740? 132,740. I think it's pretty low considering the fact that there is 132,450 in the way. So yeah, it's pretty low. But you know, it can happen.
I think maybe someone's in a trade and a buy.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Please, can you have a look kindly? Yes. Let's have a look here. Okay, this is a very well labeled chart. GJ and GCAD are quite similar. I was wondering about 0.4. New low made. Support likely being created. Might be risky sell over here. If this resistance is broken and bias is strong. Break of this resistance for a sell. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, right now it's just ranging. So if you have a break above, I would say, if you're a break above this area, then you could see price coming up to around over here, or maybe then up over here too. So you're right. If you break it down this area, then you have like all this clean candle here to the left, clean candle. There's a minor support over here, but you know it should break down. How do you know if you should enter after it retrace or just through momentum push? Well, that's up to you. That's based on what your plan is. Do you want to enter when price creates resistance, or do you want to enter like you know when price creates a support to retrace? Euro USD and USD CAD are not correlated at all in the New York session because USD CAD is moved by USD and CAD, and Euro USD is moved by Euro and USD. So for them to be correlated, you need Euro and CAD to be correlated, which they are not. Waiting for price to close below 30-pip range. Yeah, that makes sense. For it to break and continue down. The best questions we get in the streams are any trades today? Those are the best questions. Oh, it looks like it's coming down to fill the weekly wick here. Couple more pips left. Where can I find correlation? You can find correlation by studying and knowledge. That's where you can find correlation. Ooh, let's take a look at this gold chart. Gold chart coming in. Clean traffic. Price making lower highs and lower lows. You see how this gold chart is pretty choppy? And you see how GJ chart is so clean? Clean in a way that it's making a low, so you expect to come down and then retest the low. So this is what you want on gold chart. You know, and when you see this choppiness, you take a look to see, okay, is there any news? And you're like, okay, well, there's news in almost an hour and 10 minutes. So maybe that news might break gold. And then if that doesn't break gold, then maybe, you know, the FOMC might break gold, which is at 2 p.m. Eastern time. All right, AUD JPY. Do you think the buy is valid? I think a trade on AUD JPY is not valid at all in a New York session, because AUD is closed in New York session and JPY is closed in New York session. And also, like, another thing, I'm not sure if you're going to take offense to this or not. I think having volume bars here is irrelevant to what you're going to trade here. Having buying, selling volume, you can look at it from the candle, so you don't need that here as well. Looking at RSI, you don't need that here as well. So, you know, just have clean charts. Alright, let's take a look at this. What's this? Ooh, nice. Your JPY 15-minute sell. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense on the 15-minute. Makes perfect sense for it to continue down. See, if I was in this your JPY sell, and if price retraced, to break the high of the previous candle, that's where I would close 50% of my positions. Because if it's breaking the highs on a smaller time frame, then there is a slight chance it may come up to break the high on the higher time frame, which is going to be right over here, the 30-minute. Right? So it just makes sense to take a smaller loss rather than take your complete loss. That's how you really manage risk. I first started trading last year, February, stopped September, where I lost my funds and only recently continued taking. Oh, nice. I watched my strategy validate play out, but even though I'm not in the trade, can I consider improving? I experienced FOMO quite a few times. I think the best way to do that is to really anticipate if price is doing what you expect it to. I mean, FOMO, there's no book written on how to solve FOMO. There's no webinar. There's no course on how to solve FOMO. That's something you have to fix yourself. You know, the best way I fix FOMO is knowing that this is going to happen again and I should be there to catch it. That's the best way to fix FOMO. Like, it's all psychological. And if you have FOMO, you're going to overtrade and over risk, and that's just a recipe for disaster.
Hey, what's up, Raja?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, no, I could speak on that real quick. I'm out here on the West Coast, so I was trading the London session, and I grabbed 15 pips on GBP USD when it was going down, and secured my profit, and then it just kept moving, and that was one of those things, like Ted was saying, you got to be secure with like what you want. You know, like I moved my stop loss into profit, it came back, touched my stop loss, took me out of the trade. I was like, that's better than nothing. And then it keeps moving and keeps moving. and I was taking some time to myself for a minute. I was meditating for a bit, but then a notification went off on my phone that the webinar started, and so that right there, I was like, oh, I can get on. I'm like, no, let me continue doing what I'm doing. I got my plan, because FOMO can hit in anything. So it's just training your brain to not feel like, you're missing out, and to just realize that you got a strategy. You're not going to get rich overnight. You got to stick to that plan, man.
Yeah, that's true. You're absolutely right. You just got to stick to your plan. Yeah, because if the webinar started and you would have came to the webinar, then you would have been started to follow someone else's plan.
Yeah, exactly. There's always going to be like a setup you can look for. There's always going to be somebody getting on the charts. There's always going to be somebody taking profit. There's always going to be somebody posting on Instagram. There's always going to be somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just got to make sure that we're in line with what we got to do.
Yeah, it's true. So someone's looking for buys over here above this area here. That makes sense. Buying entry once candle closes above 30-minute resistance. You have clean candle head to the left. Target over here. Makes sense. And if you're waiting for the support to break, then you have a target down over here. Now this is a perfect example of identifying your most recent resistance, identifying your most recent support, and then identifying once this most recent resistance breaks, where price is going to go, and if this most recent support breaks, where the price is going to go. So now you're prepared for both things to play out, and this is how you effectively trade. Some people might say, oh, this is a retail trader thinking. Well, we're all retail traders. If you're an institutional trader, I'm sorry, you're not sitting on this stream and watching. See, as your JPY comes back up, now you start thinking about that, okay, what if it comes all the way back up? How are you going to minimize your risk? Trading is all about minimizing risk. That's it. If you can minimize risk, your profits can run. Most times what happens is people minimize their profits and they maximize their risk. And for a very long time, like for the first year of my trading, that's what I was delved into. But now when I look back, that's exactly what I was up to. Like closing early, letting losers run. So now I've realized that, okay, if price is going to go against me, what do I have to do to minimize that loss? Maybe closing half and let the rest half hit my stop loss, because then effectively now I've minimized my risk. Because if you're risking, let's say if you have $1,000 account, $1,000 account, you feel like a hero, you take a one lot sell over here, price comes up over here, either you close 50% and you let the rest hit your stop loss up over here, or if you leave it open and the entire position hits your stop loss up over here. Because if you close 50% here, and if price comes back up here and doesn't hit your stop loss and starts to go down and starts to break this low, now you can add another position. Because price couldn't break this here right now, but later on if it starts to break, now there's going to be higher chances of it to continue down, and now you've added another one to your to your trade. So now you've maximized your profits. What's this? Gold. There's a kata over here. Kata, like a cross. And then price coming down, price going up. That makes sense. It's good. Have almost the same zones. ICT is challenging a lot of traders on Instagram. Why don't you try that? Man, I've posted all my trades on Instagram. And the other thing is ICT doesn't have $1 million. So let's just not entertain that at all. Like no one's going to give some random person on Instagram $1 million. People just
the biggest clickbait I've ever seen, and everybody falls for it.
Yeah.
Give $1 million away just to prove that you can trade or you can't trade. That's that's ridiculous.
Potential hold position. Thoughts, please. Let's take a look here. Once price breaks this low. Oh, this is GJ weekly. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. You could go down there. Thoughts on this trade hold. But we don't know where you entered, so we don't know. Yeah, we don't know where you entered. Support broken here, taking a sell, clean traffic. Again, here you need to wait for price to create some sort of a resistance. We sell resistances in downtrends. We don't sell supports in downtrends. You know, sometimes it may play out, but most times it will not play out. That's the whole problem. You know, sometimes when price is falling, you take a sell, it keeps on running. You're like, okay, perfect, this happens all the time, but it doesn't happen all the time. There's a probability that it happens, you know, and the probability is less that that's going to happen. You know, so the best way to do same thing on GJ. Trust me, a lot of people they want to sell GJ right now, but you have to wait for price to retrace, create some sort of a resistance, and then continue down. That's going to be a better trade to take.
Yeah, if you look above, you know, and we talk about missed opportunities. I mean, here's where your opportunity would have been on that 30-minute chart.
Oh.
Is you're looking for rejections. You know, rejections. These candles here. So let me just highlight. It's not good. These candles here are showing rejection and we're leaving a zone. Rejections, right? We're leaving. And then what happens? You get to these candles and now we don't have any upsides. And it's getting very scary because now you're starting to see where we're rejecting. And this area here is the weekly support. So you can start to see in the 30-minute time frame in this area here where candles are now starting to create bottom areas. So if you use logic or you think through what is the candle trying to tell me, candle's telling me that these areas here, people were happy with those prices to now potentially start moving up. Those are bigger players in the market, right? And when you look at that, you say to yourself, okay, me as a retail trader, what do I have to do? I can't take those same positions as the institutional trader because I don't know what they're doing totally. I don't know what their risk management is. But what it's telling me now is I should be aware that things are happening, that I'm starting to see rejection. So now I can start planning my trades to say, okay, perfect. If indeed we start rejecting this support right now, this, I guess you would say, weekly support, where can I anticipate to start taking buys? Well, maybe up over here, maybe up over here, as we start to come back in this direction here. And what I'd be doing is I'd be looking to the left over here at a scenario that looks like this, but now is the opposite way. So I need to find a scenario where I've seen candles move to the upside, and I look to the left and I say to myself, where is this pattern that I'm looking for to the upside, and what did that pattern look like? So how can I effectively take trades from there? Not, well, because this candle's rejecting here, it's time to take a buy. It's no, what does the upside look like? And how can I mimic it again, just like I mimicked the downside at that yesterday?
Yeah, Ted, does that have to be in the same session, or can that just be anywhere on the chart?
No, it could be anywhere. But the idea is what
Okay.
you're doing is you're giving yourself an opportunity to say, okay, where how could I have caught this? So now I have this as a frame of reference. How can I catch this next time? And what I have to do is, okay, if I'm going to catch the upside, where on my charts have I seen a similar upside pattern anywhere in the charts on the 30-minute time frame? And what are the characteristics? Or, where did it start? Where did it finish? How did it move in here? So I can start to visualize what I'm looking for and how I will approach that opportunity. And when you start doing that, these opportunities become easier because now hey, chances are we're dropping to weekly support based on momentum. So that's great. But once we come here, we have to sit back and figure out, okay, what makes the most sense for the next moves.
That makes sense.
Ted, good morning. Do you consider tomorrow is going to be the monthly closing? Will you consider that as as a level to hold like the 132 to reject that level, or do you think we may have another dip down toward 131 500 to get more orders for prime prices? Or do you think that's the prime price?
So what I've done is I've mapped out the week in daily candles, right? So this is what you could be back testing is you say to yourself, okay, what happened Monday? What happened Tuesday? What happened Wednesday? Now what's going to most likely happen Thursday and Friday? So these scenarios here, we've already completed effectively, right? We know for the most part. Now we have to figure out what's happening on Thursday and Friday. So how do we figure that out? We have to collect data. So we have to say, okay, Monday we had a push up, Tuesday and Wednesday we drove down. Where did we go on Wednesday to weekly support? What will happen Thursday and Friday? Now we go back to previous weeks and we examine what normally happens on those times. But then what we do is we have to add information here. This is end of week, end of month. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to back test how things have played out at the end of the week, at the end of the month on a Friday or a Thursday, so that I can get a better idea of probability and say, okay, based on what I've seen on Thursday and Friday, when we've come to the end of the week and we've come to the end of the month, there's a lot of times that we reject or we push through those areas. So what I'm looking at currently right now, where do we see price overall? Is price in a low spot for the pound or a high spot? And then how will that play out towards the last 2 days of the week? We might find that people are taking orders and also entering orders, so it might cause a range. Or we could say, hey, everyone liked 132, so now we're going to start to leave that. So 132 will start to pull away and we'll create a weekly wick, which will be the monthly wick finishing at that point. So this is when you start breaking things down, you can then start to anticipate and say, okay, what makes the most sense? And really, we won't get an idea of what's going to happen Thursday and Friday, obviously, until those daily candles start to form. But we can start to anticipate where we are in the overall range for GJ and say, okay, well, what truly makes sense at this point? There's probability that we could drop to 131, 167. There's a probability there because you can see to the left the weekly candles are very strong, and there's we have big body candles in that weekly area from 132 126 to 131 167. But for us to have that happen, we have to have more momentum, and we know that we're coming to the end of the month, so we might not get that momentum, and we have a huge monthly rejection that we're entering into. You can look at the previous month's charts and you can see that there's a big zone that we're coming into. So now you go back to your 15-minute time frames and you say to yourself, okay, what usually happens when we enter a major zone? And we're entering a major zone on the monthly. There could be a little bit of a tap, there could be a bit of a rejection, and we could start again and then continue to move down, or we could reject there and then go back up. But most likely we have to wait now till the following month to get a good idea of where we're going to start again, because it's all about, you know, getting that fresh move. I think towards the end of the month, the moves become very stale. We get nice moves, don't get me wrong, but do you really want to play with a Thursday and Friday at the end of the month when it can basically do anything, right?
Yeah, because the thing is, once we start getting to the end of the week, I start, for example, on Thursday, I start looking at the weekly candle. So when we start approaching to the end of the month, I start looking at the monthly candle. And the thing is, I can see
exactly.
I have a resistance. I have a support on the monthly candles. Raja, can you go to the monthly, please? Because I know GJ moves a lot, but I mean, lately it's been some sort of small moves. Okay, right there. Now, can you shrink it a little bit? Okay, right there. Basically, we're approaching to the end of the month. Okay, so basically, the way I see the charts is something like this. So more than likely, where you have those rejection on the monthly, I don't expect this candle to start pulling back from there. Basically, I would like to see this candle to continue moving downtown to retest some areas on those wicks right here, you know, because based on the monthly, we had this huge rejection, but that doesn't mean the pound was getting strong. We knew that. So more than likely, the moves that I want is to create some sort of range where the price is right now, and during tomorrow, continue, or Asian tonight, continue moving downtown to retest these previous wicks. That's what I'm not expecting a heavy pullback from 132. You know, it's the way I see the charts right now, because tomorrow is gonna be the last day of the monthly candle.
Yeah, let's see what happens there. So someone sent this chart here. Someone put a lot of time in this chart. I wanted to show this chart for a long time because, you know, when people spend a lot of time, it just, you know, it's just, I want to pay respect to them. So they want this trade to wrap up by 9 a.m. to be taken, had to push down. Yeah, I think when you're looking at gold here, you're also looking at what news we have. So, I mean, if you had buy stops above this area, you might be trend is lower, sell stop under the wick over there. Yeah, that would make sense, those sells. But now you have FOMC too, so gold might range between, you know, 1711 and 1704. I mean, it's still, now when you look left, it has a lot of consolidation here. This area is not that clean, you know, it's not that clean. So when price breaks below 1702, you look left, you have a clean candle going down. This is essentially like a 40 pip range, like 39 to 40 pip range. So it's a clean candle, clean move would be down here. But then you have news here, right? So when prices coming up to some news event, you're going to see there's going to be some choppiness because, you know, price wouldn't know what to expect from the news. So that's why you're getting a lot of choppiness here. But this chart is a really, really good example of a well-labeled chart. You have percentages here, you have TP1, TP2, you're talking about 15 to 30 minute time frames, you're talking about the time of the day. So it's very nice. What's this? Ricardo sent a chart. Oh, wrong chart. Let's take a look. You mark the rejection right here. Raja, in your chart in this area, are you considering this? Considering this for what? What I'm looking at, oh, support. Support or resistance? Yeah, this is support, 132,700 right here. It's right here on the chart. So that's what I'm looking at. So prices reach a strong support. I mean, if you're looking for sells, you're waiting for some sort of a retracement. Man, we're getting so many messages on YouTube. I mean, it's crazy. So many charts come flying in all of a sudden. So bright. So bright. What's this? NZD USD 842 coming down to 721. I don't think there's enough range. There's not enough range over here. Because 842 down to 721, that's like a 12 pip range. It's very risky. USD CAD 4 hour. Target if bias changes. Okay, if we break above here, you're targeting up there. If we break below the support on USD CAD, we may continue down. Let's take a look here. USD CAD right here on the 1 hour. And what we have here is a support. We have a potential resistance here. This area is negligible because that happened yesterday. We're focused on what's happening right now. Looking at it from a 4-hour perspective, let's look left. Yep, that makes sense. Now let's measure this range from that support. Now near 30 to 40 range. That could be a good trade here because now it's ranging. And now also with USD CAD, you look this USD news, so maybe that's why the USD pairs you might see that they're ranging. What time frames are you looking at on GJ? I mean, 1 to 30-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame. Yeah, because price is trending here. Whenever price is trending, you want to wait for resistances to be formed. What's this? Euro USD. Looking for sells below the support. This makes sense. I think if you remove these trend lines, you'll start to see things much more clearly. Honestly, if people only use one technical indicator on the charts, you're going to get maybe 30% better. Your analysis will get 30% better, trust me. Like you think you need a lot of technical indicators on the chart to be successful, you don't. You don't need all those indicators. Just one like price action or like one support resistance or just one trend line or one fib, that's enough. And I used to use 4 indicators back in the day. Oh, Jesus. Waiting for the support to break. I think this is the Curvin's support that they're looking to break. To continue down. Yeah.
Jiggy did something beautiful last night. Sadly, I missed the move, but we have retested previous support, create resistance. Man, it was beautiful. Drop from there. 133 flat.
133
yeah, too bad I was sleeping.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, the 130, 32. Oh, once it broke that. Well,
yeah.
I mean 130.
Yeah, I think it's gonna continue dropping. I don't see.
Yeah, but it's gotta be a retest, dude.
Yeah, maybe you gotta retest 132.
I'm waiting for 8 a.m. to see if there's a retest. From 8 a.m. to 9, there should be a pullback.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be possible that NY Open volume could push GJ past its weekly support? I mean, if NY Open breaks this support, that's going to be a huge move. Huge move. Because prices already fell a lot. You know, so now you just got to use logical thinking that, I mean, I had this really good friend, his name was Javier, and he used to say, price no move in one direction. So it has to do some sort of retracement here.
Yeah. You may have a pullback 132 200 and then drop from there. Well, let's see. Or you may have a straight drop because the 4-hour candle still have a lot of potential to continue going downtown.
Yeah. Like even if this 4-hour closes with the wick, I think the next one is going to fill that wick, and on the smaller time frames, that's going to be like a move up and then move down.
Yeah, that's basically the move I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
Because right now, this 4-hour candle it just moved 57, 58 pips, something like that. It looks like a big move, but it's not a big move. It's from the GJ in a good day, it can move like 250 pips.
Oh yeah, easy. Took a small buy here until top of bearish continuation to his candle thoughts. I think this buy is risky since you took it on 15-minute time frame. Yeah, it's pretty risky. I think you need some sort of a support forming on a 30-minute. 30-minute at least.
I'm kind of liking that. No, I'm not gonna take it, but see another 15 minutes forming and still bullish. And support gets formed on 132, and yeah, definitely go for buys. Nice.
Yeah, let's just wait.
If you take buys, you're gonna be in profit 3 pips and then draw down 20. Trust. Because 131.750 is coming hopefully before this hour close.
Yeah, I mean, this is also risky, the sell here. I wouldn't take it because there's a lot of support over here, a lot of ranging over here. So I think if you look at the 30-minute or the 1 hour, you'll see some more information. Would you say today is not the best day to trade USD CAD because of all the news? I would say it is. You will need to wait for this, either this resistance to break or the support to break, because the longer price consolidates, the harder break is going to be. And if there's no news, then you can expect like a hard break. But when there's news, then you can expect like a hard break with the news. So I think that could be in store. Just have to wait and see. How's the correlation between UJ and GJ? The correlation between UJ and GJ is negligible here in New York session. Because UJ, it's moved by the US dollar, and GJ is moved by the pound. Pretty simple things you'd expect people to know. What's this? GU 15-minute. Waiting for price to form resistance, then waiting for it sells. And I think if these candles keep forming bearish candles, you could see a continuation down. Now, GU is different than GJ in New York session because GU is affected more by the US dollar as well. So you have like a higher volatile news here, GDP news here, and expecting bad numbers. So if these numbers do come out bad, there could be a chance that GU might push up. So we'll have to wait and see how that news comes out. Have you ever traded using COT reports? I have no idea what that is. So the answer is no. Took a sell here. Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, I think it should come down over here. You have the zone. How would you analyze something, for example, gold on higher time frames, weekly, monthly, considering it's entered a new range and no new data to the left? Well, let's take a look at here on the daily chart. Let's remove everything. And let's do a top-down analysis here. Let's go to monthly. Monthly is bullish. Okay, perfect. Let's go to weekly. Weekly, previous weekly candle was bullish. This one is bearish. You would expect this to continue up to make a top wick, but for that to happen, we need to see if there's any supports forming to support that idea of it going up. Looking at it on the daily time frame, daily created a resistance around 1735. It came down, tapped into a support area somewhere over here at 1699, 1700. Now let's take a look at it on the, now if this daily candle closes bullish, let's say, because this is still open, right? It's still open, we don't know what's going to happen. Like if the news comes out and there's FOMC, so with FOMC, daily candle can come down to fill this daily wick and continue down to 1682, 1683, or it can close bullish above the previous candle, and then you can anticipate the next candle to continue bullish, and then eventually weekly goes bullish, right? So let's take a look on the 4-hour, the thing that we can control, because this is the time frame that we're in. 4-hour is ranging. If you look left, there's a lot of mess over here, you know. So I guess, yeah, you have to wait to see how news does anything here, because if we break this resistance, then you're looking left to see that, okay, maybe like 1717 is going to be the next target, and after that maybe like 1722 is going to be the next target. So if you look at the smaller time frames, you will see some more information here to the left. So right here, you see how we have this area here, and then you have this area here, because you're looking to see where price was consolidating, right? So price rejected this area before it dropped. So if we break above 1712, maybe we're going to go up to 1716, 1717. And if we break above 1716, 1717, then there's a high chance for price to go to 1722 and 1723, because this is where the 1 hour candle started ranging before. So then there's a high chance that they will range here again too. So, and if you break below the support, then price might come down to 1698. And that's how you draw, your zones, and then you mark up the potential areas.
$16.98, mate.
Oh,
I'm liking this GJ support.
Yeah, the 30-minute has to close bullish to form support.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ishvar had a nice S&P trade. Beautiful. Labeling is also very nice. Numbered, really easy to read. Nice candlesticks. Raja, is my analysis of this chart correct? My God, I did not see this beautiful level this morning. Breakout. All fake out. Oh, yep. This is correct.
I'm actually gonna enter a buy here on GJ, anticipating that this is gonna continue up, not break 132 even, pull back, get some liquidity to continue up, and hopefully it doesn't break 132.
As a mentor, I would say that's a very bad idea.
It's a very risky trade.
Very risky trade. But as a friend, I'm gonna say, do it, Mac. Do it.
And I did it. And I'm in. So let's see how it goes.
I think a better trade is going to be waiting for price to retrace, maybe come up to these areas and wait for some sort of a resistance to form, so you can take the trade going down.
Yeah, I agree.
For anyone who started trading in the last month or maybe 6 months, that's going to be a very easy trade to take. And then if that's still a loss, then you could say, okay, well, it made sense. But if it plays out, then you could say, okay, well, it was a perfect trade with trading with the trend, basically.
Yeah. Something like this, and then another.
Yeah, so that's when we say that you get paid to wait.
Yeah, man.
So always put yourself in the best position to win. Like Ted is my mentor, and he used to say this a lot. Put yourself in the best position to win.
You remember, like if it was yesterday.
Hey, Raja, can you look at this chart, please? Okay. Let's look at this chart. Let's take a look here. Price, yeah. I don't even know why I opened this. So I don't even know what to say to this chart. This is okay. Let's take a look at this chart here. Someone sent this chart. Buy stop, sell stop. Planning for NY open momentum. Yeah, I think you should wait for price to. I mean, it's very risky with the buy stop and sell stop. If I was trying to take this trade, I would take the trade based on price coming up here and then taking the sell and then posting it on Instagram, and everyone would say, "Oh, what a nice trade," So that's something I would want to wait for. But this chart that someone sent, this is trash analysis. I'm sorry, I have to say it. This is for your own good. This is just, it makes no sense. It helps nobody. This chart helps not a single person. Not even me, because I don't even know what's going on. Good job. In a range, how do you decide if price is failing to break up or down? You don't decide. You don't decide. It's really hard to tell. I mean, what you do is you plan. If price starts to come up, you plan that, okay, if price comes up to this area, that's where you might start to look for sells. So you start planning here. So if you look right now, the 15-minute candles are closing bearish, and some people are still taking buys, which makes no sense at all. The 30-minute is also bearish.
Yeah, I closed already.
Good job. So you just have to wait. Oh, I think Grant sent the wrong chart. We can't open it. Man, if GJ falls further, I have no idea.
Yeah, no type of retest. Just.
Yeah, like the only thing I can see is that, okay, maybe it's coming down to fill this wick, but it's GJ. It can just keep on dropping. Just gotta wait for it to come up to an area where you can take a sell. Because in this range, you can get trapped buying and selling in this range. Let's take a look at this chart here. US 500. If 30-minute closes bearish under support here at 870. Yeah, this makes sense. Stop here also makes sense. I think might have some issues coming into this area here, but otherwise could make sense. I think the 1 hour on that chart would 1 hour and the 4 hour could provide more information of what's happening in this area over here. Boris had a baby and GJ pairs dropped. Oh,
Very good. Congratulations.
very nice.
That is awesome. Boris had a baby and
I think
Just made my day.
I think GJ dropped because Boris came back in the office. Like, oh, he's back.
Anybody know what happened to Monty this morning for the London session? He's in the gulag.
He's in the
Oh
gulag.
man.
Yeah, Monty went to the gulag.
He's fighting his way out. There might be a session tomorrow, or it might not be.
It might not be. You never
Oh,
know.
wow.
Or Monty will have to find a new team.
Oh yeah, new squad.
He'll need someone to revive him.
Definitely not me. I'll be throwing rocks from the.
He's taking care of Boris' baby.
What's this Nasdaq 100 1 hour chart?
Definitely, we know what to do there.
Yeah, I think your zone. Yeah, zones are good. Makes sense. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Let's take a look.
GJ, what could happen is that, like you said, it filled that wick, that little wick from the last previous 30 minutes, and should continue up with the retest.
See now, yeah, you're right. You know, but this chart here, you're anticipating price to keep on dropping, and this goes back to the fact to what my friend said once, Javier, that price no move in one direction only. You know, so you're saying this price is going to keep on dropping, but logic dictates that price needs to retrace and then drop. So I think you could get a better entry if you see some sort of a resistance forming.
Right, wait for that resistance and then pick
Yeah.
some.
Ooh, USD CAD is breaking up over here. It broke the high of the previous 30-minute candle in the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the NY Open. 1 hour candle here too broke the high of the previous 1 hour candle, which was doji. Someone was entering. I think a stop set like here would make sense. 15 pips away, but then again you have news. This is the thing, right? So if I was looking at USD CAD here, and if I was itching to take a buy because it's breaking up, I wouldn't necessarily take a buy knowing that there's high volatility news coming in 25 minutes, you know. And if, let's say, price does go up over here and I knew I could have entered having a stop here irrespective of the news, and if I missed it, then I would know for the next time it happens, you know. Because if the next time the same scenario happens, there's news in half an hour and price is moving where I think it would move, and if I remember that the last time it happened before and I missed it, but I saw it happen, then I'd be more prone to take a buy, you know, because then I'll be using my previous experience into the present trade to execute. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it makes sense.
Yeah. I actually kept a position open and it's running in profits right now. I'm already 7 pips up.
Matt, we'll have to mute you for lying.
I'll show you.
No. Like you said that you closed, and then you
I
said...
closed one. I left the other one open.
Let's go.
Oh,
Let's
nice.
go.
See, now when price is moving, there's clean candles here. So if you're looking at sells, you're looking at this area here. Because this is where price had issues when it came down. So it might have issues here again, form sort of resistance, and then probably come down to retest below.
All right, my TP is at 132, 150.
Hey, Roja, please check this chart. Roja.
Roger.
Yeah, I think you sent the wrong chart. We can't open it. Alright, let's take a look here. Let's take a look at this chart. Oh, wrong chart.
There's your horse, Mac.
Yeah, I said I'm closing one at 10 pips, doing the other one.
To be honest, Mac lost confidence when price went bearish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I closed one. So what? I left the other one open.
No, you lost confidence. You have to be confident.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
The
you're
moment he
confident
said-
than most people.
Look, listen, I called that trade and I said I'm in buys, balls
Yes.
deep, you know? Like nobody ever said that. Like I didn't even send a chart. My chart is there just to prove it. I will see it, go ahead and see it. If not, make YouTube happy. I don't know. Bottle hit
Your
TP.
fingers today?
Alright, let's take a look at this here. Oh, wrong chart. Man, why are people sending wrong charts here all of a sudden now? Why was this a bad? I think now looking at it in hindsight, it could have been a better indication once the 30-minute broke the high of the previous 30 minutes to continue for a retracement. Because because we had a big move down. So if you were looking to trade a move up, it would have been better for it to wait to break the high of this previous 30 minutes. Because once price was down here, there was no confirmation that price is going to go up, rather than just saying, okay, I'm just going to take a trade, and if it goes up, it goes up, it goes down, it goes down. So I think a better confirmation was there once it broke the high on the 30 minute. So this would have been an impulse trade going off of the fact that, okay, if we're looking for a retracement, if people are trying to sell, they're waiting for retracements, but then there are people who want to take this retracement going up, knowing that you have this range where price might retrace up to. So if price is going to make higher highs and higher lows to continue up, then you're looking to see that, okay, if we're breaking this high, and then price should not come down to break this low. So that's where you're putting your trust into.
All right, perfect. Hit TP. I'm done for the day, guys.
Nice one.
Thank you.
Are you done talking too?
Yeah. There you go, Ted. Damn. I don't know what it is, but
that was the blind side.
I think yeah, that was like a little southpaw right there. He just boom, out the blue. You know, we having some little discussions in the chat. But I didn't see that coming.
Man, even in
I'll see you
look
in
at
the
the
gulag.
chat. Look, I see you in the gulag, boy. Hey, listen, I called the trade. I took profits. I'm out. Listen.
That's good. That's
yeah.
good. No, I'm good. I'm glad you won.
Yeah, I won this one. I'll see you in the gulag, though.
Okay.
You know.
Let's go. Everybody in the YouTube chat is probably like saying, "Oh, maggots all over the place. Maggots this, maggots that."
So this Euro USD chart. This makes sense. The 30-minute close below. You have confirmation. You're expecting price to go down. You have stop loss above the previous 30-minute candle. There's news coming in. So if news pushes it further down, you're going to be in a lot of luck for winning this trade. So that's good. And Francesco sent the wrong chart. We can't open it. I think the trade that Mac took, it requires a lot of experience and practice.
I take trades like that too.
What's this? It looks good for a sell. AUD USD. Yeah, I mean, if you think it looks good, then for sure, perfect. Because if it goes back in the range, then you have your stop loss there, so there's nothing to lose. Ooh, wow, what a move called by Mac.
Wow.
Pew pew. Debunking.
What the hell is this happening?
What? Oh, come on. You know me. You know what it is, baby. We called it from the get-go, like saying, like, 132 had to be some support, then retest, go up, get some liquidity, calm down. Simple.
So basically for GJ, we're waiting for this 30-minute candle to close to see if the price will go before you enter for the trade for a sell. Yes, so you would need some sort of a resistance forming for price to continue down to retest the low. That's the idea. We're having a nice retracement on the 4-hour. If it makes a wick, there's a very high chance the next 4-hour candle can come down to fill this wick, which is going to be the retracement coming down. So let's see what happens here.
Well, it's continuing up.
All right, we got 12 minutes here for the news. 12, 12 minutes. Can sell now? Question mark. Well, if you sell now, where is your stop loss? The resistance hasn't formed. You know, you need some sort of a minor resistance forming to take the sell. Francesco, if you're watching this, you need to click here on the camera here, and then you need to send this link. Sending this link helps nobody.
Can buy now? I think it's a little too late for a buy.
All right, what's this? Oh, position I'm in now. Oh, okay, perfect. Nice. So you took the same buy. I'm expecting a bit of time ranging from 132.500 to 132, and when it clearly breaks out downside, I will sell next idea over here. Yeah, I think if you look on the daily time frame, look how bearish the daily time frame is. And if the next, I mean, here's the thing, right? If this daily candle closes below 132.400, which is below the support that was formed in the previous daily candles, then you can kind of like expect the next daily candle, like on Thursday, the Thursday daily candle to maybe form a wick and continue pushing bearish. If this daily candle closes, you know, below this area right over here. So that would make much more sense. And that in turn will push the weekly candle further bearish. So that's something to look out for Thursday. That's something I'll be looking out for Thursday too, if that does happen, if price does close that way. But right now we're pushing up viciously, so just waiting.
Oh, so that's a good move. 30 pips.
Yeah. That was a really good move.
Mm-hmm. Good call, guys.
That 30-minute candle is really bull if it broke 450. Yeah, if it breaks 450, then it's going to move up then furthermore. So we'll have to see what happens. See, now when things like these happen and you're like, oh man, like, you know, price was at a very strong support, I expected it to go up but I missed a trade, you start getting these FOMOs. Instead of getting FOMO, always start to look to see that, okay, how could you have taken the trade? So now when I look at it, I'm trying to explain to myself that, okay, I think a better confirmation was when price broke this high over here. And when price broke this high, you could have entered. Now, if this happens the next time it happens, you're going to be more ready to execute on that trade. So, and Now the second thing you start to focus on that, okay, even if you could have taken a trade, taken a buy as they broke the high, where would your stop loss have been? And then you start saying that, okay, maybe the stop loss would have been right over here, below this candle that broke the high. So these are like learning things you, extrapolate from the charts.
She Googled that.
Google, bro, I know what that means.
What?
It's a Pictionary it.
Extrapolate. Pictionary.
You're bad.
Yeah, so it's like what we said when we came to the stream in the morning was that when you're looking at the charts, when you're trading is like a practice. You're constantly looking at new things, you're constantly adjusting, constantly learning, constantly taking notes of different variables at play. Would you enter mid candle though? No. If I enter mid candle, then stop is going to be bigger, because you always need to keep your downside low. Because entering in the middle over here, your stop is going to be down over here. So if you're entering as it's breaking the high over here, your stop is down. This I explain it in the webinar called. It's in a webinar of how to give your trades a second chance. So basically, these are impulse entries. I think it's in the Forex Family database under webinars. Pretty good webinar.
Yeah, that one's really good. It helped me a lot too.
Yeah, it was all based on I think that was mostly based on really understanding the highs and the lows of candles. Have I taken a trade yet? No, my trade was GJ sells overnight. So ran really well. Matt posted a chart here. Let's take a look at this. There it was. Oh, very nice, very nice.
That was my chart. Look how simple, easy, chilling.
So what was your analysis here?
Well, basically, if we go on the 15-minute, I had taken my entry here. Go back on the 15. Here, this one on this candle, right? But my stop loss was here, right? 131.
Yeah.
I think it was 131. 993, something like that. And I kept one running, which I closed the other one. Then on the next 15, it dropped. It stopped here. It didn't even go below my stop loss, so I left it running, and I saw no rejection.
Yeah, what happened, but what was your analysis?
Oh, my analysis. Well, basically 132 strong support. Then it was 8 o'clock in the morning, which is basically the opening of New York, and we always expect a pullback, right, at this time. So that pullback was, like we said before, around this area, just to grab some liquidity. I didn't expect this 15-minute to be so long, but it actually pumped up all the way up to grab some liquidity, and we could expect this resistance to stop the liquidity grab, just to continue for it to continue down.
Nice.
But yeah, it was just about timing. 8 o'clock rejection, 15-minute, and that's it. Simple. 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Someone's going to start looking at their wait, what's this? What say you? I say that I think you need some more labeling here. That's what I say. There's some support forming over here. This is the 15-minute chart. I think you need to look at the 30-minute chart to see if it seems like this is a very, very solid zone over here. So you need some more context in this chart. So I would say to you is, what say you more? You need to say more over here. Ooh, USD CAD is pushing up here further. I think it did a retest. This will be interesting. Can you show your desk setup? I have two monitors. And honestly, having 2 or 3, 4 monitors, it doesn't make you profit. But it helps you trade better because then you can see more things and make you feel like a professional. Oh, what's this? CAD JPY. This is 335. Now, this is a bad idea because this is a small range. You know, I'm just trying to help you. I'm not like being negative, but this is a small range because look, its price is at 335, and the top of the range you have 453. It's like 12, 15 pip range. It's very small, very choppy. So I'd say wait for this range to break to either go up or down. But it's very choppy. All right, let's see what happens with the news. Some people are in your USD sells, some are in USD CAD buys. Interesting things about to happen.
And that's so like funny how you asked me like what was my analysis, like when it's so like stuck in your head, like the time frames, the what session you're in and what's going to happen around that time, like it's so already in your head, like you don't even know how to explain it. You're like, oh, it's simple logic.
I was wondering with Japan holiday, why are the prices still playing similar way? Because Japan holiday is at the Japan timing. We are in New York timing. So it doesn't matter if Japan is closed or not. Because Japan is already closed at this time, every day. Alright, let's see what happens here. This is the gold range here. Oh wow.
Look at GJ pushing. Nice.
That's still pushing. Damn.
He's gonna hit that zone after on the 132 to 500.
Yeah.
Those spreads though on GJ. Jeez. 7 pips.
Ooh.
What's up with these spreads?
Wow, USD CAD. Because it's news.
US
news?
30, US 30 just went flying too.
Yeah, GJ opened up super bad.
I bought US 30 up. Yeah, my buy stop and take profit got activated on US 30.
Yeah, where you said it was safe to buy over, my take profit was right there at 2400 flat.
I entered there. Basically, my order was 24 for 44, and my take profit was 24 520.
You guys are wilding with the US 30.
Yeah, but it was showing easy support on the 15 minute, 15 and 1 hour showed nice support, and I was expecting the 4 hour to turn bullish. And that's exactly what happened,
Yeah. Basically, I didn't want to play with the news before the news. I didn't want to touch it.
What did we get for GDP? Bad numbers? Man, expecting good numbers, no?
It's just Kerwin. It was the same exact setup as last night for Asian section. Same exact EMA.
Indeed. Yeah, exactly.
It's not refreshing for the GDP, so I'm guessing it's good, right?
And they may continue pushing. To be honest, thing is, I wanted a quick move on US 30. Yes.
Yeah, that was that. My trade was 6 minutes long, bro. I'm done.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get in.
Only 1 minute, basically.
And US 30 moves a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of volatility.
That's scalper's paradise right there, man.
Yeah, man. I agree.
I'm good with GJ. Just leave me with GJ for now.
Basically 170 pips in 1 minute. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no.
Once you are in the right direction, you're good.
Yeah, that's why I watch it on the 4 hour and 1 hour, and then I just wait for the 15-minute to do a retrace, and then as the 5 minute starts going back my direction, that's when I enter it.
Mm-hmm.
And just keep riding momentum up, you know.
Oh, you're still in?
No. I'm saying that's why I jump in to ride the momentum up. Nah, well, US 30, I've learned just to get your pips and get out.
Yeah. Oh, look at gold.
Water bottle. We need basketball. And look at her. She's like crying like a little bitch. Crying like a little bitch.
Wow, this USD CAD 30 candles didn't really close above here. Right before the news, it just went straight down. Let's take a look at this chart. Euro, expect push up in NY. Oh, nice. Uncle Ted rejection area. I think these were wicks on the 1 hour time frame and a 30-minute time frame. Wow, that's a crazy rejection on the 4 hour. Oh, bad news. Minus 4.8. No wonder gold dropped and US 30 went up. Was the US 30 in an uptrend? Uptrend already?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, Raj has basically been on the 4 hours, been bullish momentum, and then the last 3 candles kind of created a support for the 4 hour.
Hmm.
And then if you look at the 1 hour, you'll see 24.30 was pretty much respected. All candles kept closing above that level.
Yeah.
That's why I wait for this setup to get to get the easy part of the move.
See, this is the part where GJ, if it forms resistance, you could see it move down. This area here. We approached that area right here. Baby. Dun, dun, dun. Haven't taken a single trade in NY. Just sat here and just watched. Are you looking for resistance to be formed on the 15-minute or 30? That's an excellent question, because if you're looking at the 15-minute here, you're basically looking at to see that, okay, where your stop is going to be. So, I mean, what I was looking at here was that maybe a stop is going to be around here, around 132, 500 area. If the 15-minute does close bearish, but then if the 30-minute also closes bearish, that's going to be good, because whatever it is, I think a 15-minute closing bearish would be a little bit early. but that could still give you some confidence that okay, there might be some chances that 30-minute may close bearish then. Because the only thing I have a problem with is that if I wait a little bit more for the 30-minute to close bearish, then the stop might get bigger. You know, because I'm looking for a hard stop to be at 132,500 area. So that's the idea I'm looking at. 132,500 to be a hard stop. It's like only like 15, 16 pips away. And then looking at like a potential, you know, like 18 to a 20 pip move down. Why wouldn't you target the lows? Well, because the lows are around 40 pips, right? So if I want to, so if I take a trade, my stop is going to be around like 13, 14 pips. And then I'm targeting around, you know, 132, 200 area. And then I'm letting a runner run. You know, the reason why is because if price comes down here, there's a high chance price might, you know, start consolidating here before dropping further or going back up. You know, so I want to secure what I can secure. And if I have a runner, then that runner can take the heavy lifting of continuing moving down. Because one thing is, you don't want to risk your entire position by having like a very, very big take profit, right? Like you want to take a maximum profit out of the move and then let a runner run to complete the move if you want.
So do you always take two positions?
Normally I take like one, depends, like, you know, one or two. Like right now I'm using like a higher lot sizes, so I'm just potentially taking one position. But sometimes, like last night, I took two positions of two like, you know, like I broke it down into two lots. So it
Gotcha.
Yeah, you know, so it depends how you're looking at it. Normally I just open one and I'd close like a portion of it as price goes into profits.
Right now you're looking for sales, right?
Yes.
Makes sense. That was a good retracement. Look at liquidity grab continuing down.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. It should moving down, you know. The 15 pip stop and then continue move down here till 132, 200. 15-minute candle is about to close. How would you take the GJ sell trades if next 15 minute drops before the candle closes? Well, then you learn. You know, if the move happens before it closes, then you're like, oh, okay, you know what? Sometimes GJ moves before it closes, and then you take that into account, and then you move into the next day. It's frustrating, but that's a very crucial part of learning. You know, like you anticipate, you take that into account, and then like you make notes of it, and you watch it happen again, you watch it happen again and again and again, and then you miss a few times. When you miss a few times, the point comes where you're like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to miss it again, and I'm going to execute on it. And then you may take a loss. So when you take that loss, you shouldn't take that loss personal. You should say like, okay, like, you know what? Most times I've seen it play out. Well, this one time it did not play out. This does not mean that every time it won't play out. It just means that maybe there was that one odd of it not playing out. Because like trading is all about probabilities. You know, like Mac, he took a buy right down over here. There was a probability that price may go up. So he had his take profit at like 130, 150. But there was a probability that price would stop here, or it may go all the way up to 130 to 450. You know, so it went all the way up. So the only thing what we can do is we can only control risk. That's it. We don't control the outcome. We control the risk. How much risk are you going to put on the trade? That's in your control. The outcome of the trade is never in your control. But also then over trading is in your control and over risking is in your control. All those things. So if I would take this trade based on a 15-minute candle close, I would probably use a smaller position to take this trade. Someone's making food in the background. Let's hunt them down and mute them. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, it should be good. 14 pip stop and a continuation down to 132, 180, 170. Someone sent a chart. Let's take a look at this. This chart, loading trade. Alright. It's taking a long time to load over here. Oh, third time's the charm. Oh. Looking at GJ 4-hour chart in about 20 minutes, doesn't that look like a liquidity grab for candles for upward? Yes, so if the 4-hour candle is going to go up, it needs to break the high of the previous 4-hour candle, which is the current 4-hour candle right over here. This one. So the next one has to break the high for it to continue moving up. So that's why you place stop losses. You know, that price has to respect, you know, a high, it has to respect a low, and that's where your stops are going to be. Like, your stop losses are conditions you put on the trade that price has to meet that certain condition for it to play out. See the 15-minute close bearish. So, yeah, pretty good. See, now your stop becomes larger now. You had the same stop, but now it's become larger.
That should be an easy sell.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you just had to execute.
Oh, you're not taking any trades?
No, I entered at 132.397.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I was talking about it.
Yeah, my sell stop just got activated.
Ooh. Oh, there you go.
I had it below the wick of the 15-minute.
Mm-hmm.
Once it broke the low, then yeah, pretty sure it's gonna go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a low risk trade that I'm doing. As you know, don't want to risk too much.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, plus we broke it down. I mean, it's fairly simple. You know, resistance hit.
Oh, someone actually executed in the YouTube chat.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good luck. Was it 132 even? Could even be your TP, like somewhere around here.
When price is consolidating at SR level, how do you form a bias? Well, you don't. You identify the most recent support resistances, and then you identify where price is going to go if it breaks either or. You know, so those are things you look at.
Did you some magic candles there?
What confirmations do you look for entering a position when the candle hasn't closed? Well, you look to see where your stop loss is going to be. And then based on that stop, you execute. Let's take a look at this chart here. Sorry, Mac, I have to remove your drawings. I have to look at charts.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Waiting for the price to reject this area and also waiting for 30-minute candle to close bearish and take a sell. Would you consider it valid? Yes. So if you haven't executed here, then you're probably waiting for the 30-minute candle to close. And that's totally fine as well, because now you're waiting for the high time frame candle to close. You're expecting price to respect the high over here, 132.500, and continue moving bearish. USD. Oh, nice. Oh, I remember this chart. So would you say entering a sell on GJ right now is somewhat impulsive? I would say it's let's see here. It's not impulsive. I wouldn't say so. It's not impulsive. Because if your stop is here, then you're accepting what you're risking. That's the thing. You're accepting what you're risking. Accepting the risk. Because we're in a downtrend, the 4-hour candle is about to close. It's respecting the support, and you're anticipating the next 4-hour candle to not break the high of the previous one and continue down to maybe 132, 200, 250, like partial wick over here. That would be a very safe target. So I think it could still very well work out. In my opinion, confirmation candles are completely unnecessary. Take your trades at your levels with proper stop loss and TP. I think that that's a valid statement that the confirmation candles are unnecessary. But when you're starting out, it's a very good idea to wait for confirmation candles, because while you wait for confirmation candles, you miss a lot of moves. And when you're in a learning stages, it's really okay to miss moves, but at the same time, you're also practicing discipline too, because as you're missing moves, you're taking mental notes of things that are happening. Because when you miss moves, you're like, okay, you know what, I missed this move. Okay, well, next time I'll see what happens then. And as you see the same things start happening over and over again, you start to get more confident in executing because you've seen it happen again and again. So I guess now it just needs to respect the 4-hour high for the next candles to continue dropping. Ooh, gold is actually breaking down here. See if the news was good, if it was bad. News was bad for the US dollar. Gold dropped. Gold should have gone up. If this 30-minute candle closed bearish, would you stack some more risk if it's within daily risk? I would wait for the 30-minute to close if you're not already in it. Because your stop is over here around 520, 500, 520, 530. So you're keeping those things in account.
Yeah, I'm in a 5 pip drawdown right now. And I'm gonna exit 50% of my positions and let it run. I mean, I don't want to lose the whole thing,
Yeah, no, that's good.
right?
Yeah, I think that's a very excellent approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've started to do that too now, and I've noticed my losses are way smaller than they used to be. Because sometimes what happens is that you're not really like when price goes in drawdown, you're not really confident, but you still think it's going to go down. And sometimes when you close your entire position and price goes your way, you're like, oh man, I knew it's going to go down. So it's better to take off 50% because when you close 50% of the trade in a drawdown, then you're really removing 50% of the stress or anxiety you might have. So then you're in a better position to manage the trade. Because then if it does go your way, you're like, oh, okay, perfect. At least I caught some part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, someone donated $1. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. $1 a day for a year makes $300.
It's pretty good
Yeah, pretty good income.
for doing nothing.
No, man, we do a lot of things here. Like every morning, we spend time.
I'm laughing. For doing nothing.
Why are you laughing?
Because you said for doing nothing. What do you mean? We don't do anything here? We should split the profits. Split them.
No.
Nothing hard.
Vincent gets a penny. I get a penny. You don't get pennies.
Everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy.
What happened to your USD? Some people were in sells. Let's take a look here. Your USD went up. Guess it bounced off from the support. Ooh, someone donated $10. Perfect. Thank you, thank you. All this goes to YouTube sends it to a non-profit organization. We don't even know where it goes, what organization that is.
But YouTube send you some sort of receipt about all this money going to a certain charity, or
No, nothing.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm out for the day. Bye.
Okay, man.
Take care.
Buddy. Love you, man.
Love you.
Good.
If that wick is a liquidity grab and price respects resistance, I will go short with TP 8704. Yeah, makes sense if you see like a rejections there. Would you now close 50% as it's moving? Yes. Yes. Minimizing risk is key. You need to minimize risk. I think your stop loss is way too tight. Spread is going to take it out. Wow, looks like this 30-minute is not going to close bearish here at all. $2,000 people here. I think 1,000 people took sells in GJ and now in drawdown. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. Oh wow, 4 hours closing above the support. That's looking nasty. Just closes above the support, it's not gonna go down.
Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Look at that wick.
Crazy.
Yeah. Full on rejection. Oh, it went bullish.
Yeah, Lee. Well, Mac, why didn't he leave it straight?
Yeah, Mac caught a sniper entry down over there.
Sniper entry, boy. He's probably going crazy right now.
Do you use magic keys to close? Yeah, it's like it has a button here. It says close half. So I'm here in my seat. I take this and then I press right over here, click, and it closes half. That's it.
Hey, Rakeel, go on USD CAD. It might break down.
Okay. Yeah, it might break down. Let's take a look here. US 100 got stopped out here twice and break even. What do you think caused the move up? Well, what do I think caused the move up? I guess it was news. Man, come on. Yeah, the way the 4 hour is closing, I mean, it's just closing back above that support. 30-minute also closed above, so there's no sells. Like if you're waiting for sells on a 30-minute to close, it closed bullish. I have no analysis on GJ right now because it's just pushing up. I think this was an impulse move because nothing concrete happened during the London session. I mean, there was little news, but that was about it. Nothing substantial that happened. Wow. Look at this daily candle. Daily candle looks like it's pulling its pants up. Yeah, see the 4 hour closed. Closed like a little doji there. Oh, damn.
Still going. Jeez.
Hope no one's holding a sell over here. It'll be crazy.
Next time we gotta take those MAC signals, man.
There was that question at the beginning of the stream: 132, 750 or something. Will it retrace? So we've definitely got our answer.
Yeah.
And I think who sent the one on the chart? I think Anthony sent a chart with a possible retrace at 132.750, I think it was, to take a sell.
What's the most trades you ever taken? Yes, I think there were a lot. Like 3 years ago, 20 some trades. Madness. Do you enter the trade when the price is just pushing fast like it's done now, or do you wait for a minor resistance support to be formed? I wait for a minor resistance or support to be formed. Wow, this was nuts. So since it came back in this range now, I think it should hold this support. Come down, make support, and then continue up. Now it's making a high in this range. Back in this range now. It's making a high in this range. If you clarify why this move happened, you are a freaking genius. I'm not a genius. I don't know why this move happened. Some things in the charts you can't explain. It's just how it is. You know, you just can't explain certain things that happen. Oh, was there news on Corona, right? Oh yeah, this was the news here. Oh, this is why the pound pumped. Where's this guy from? This guy from the UK. Gilead. Boy, did that news sucker in the buyers. Here we go. Wow, Corona really messing up with the markets over here. You know, I really appreciate everyone who comes here every day and they spend time with us for 3 hours, 3.5 hours sometimes. Sometimes, you know, we have some nice wins, and sometimes we just sit here like ducks. Get nothing. Like little ducks. It's Corona time. Can I be on the mic, or is there a criteria? You know, there's no criteria to be on the mic. You can come on the mic anytime you want.
Yeah, you allowed me on the mic. I don't know. That's. Right, guys, take care. I'm off. Stay safe, stay strong.
All right, man.
All right, take care.
Did you trade today, Roger?
Man, what's that?
It's Bobby typing.
Oh, sorry.
Bobby, yo. Hey, Kevon, did you get any of the move on Dow Jones today?
Nah, I stopped messing with US 30, man. Too much fundamentals, and once the corona passed, I'll start going back to that. But I was looking for some buys at GJ at the bottom, but I caught the sales for like 15 pips when it came up and did that pullback.
Okay.
I want to see a rejection at this level right here. Where price is right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, basically, hopefully we respect the opening from Asian.
Yeah. If we get a rejection, we probably could go to test today's lows, but who knows?
Dang, that pulled bad.
I wasn't expecting this heavy pullback to be honest. Now,
Not at all. I was expecting a pullback, but not this strong.
No, yeah, this is too strong.
I was expecting 132, 200, 132, 250, something like that. But this is too much. This is for a mess.
I was looking for buys off like what level is that? I think it's like 131,788 down there, but it barely missed it.
What are you guys up to for the rest of today?
Chilling.
Chilling.
Home, cleaning.
Cleaning. That's all we can do.
For real.
Man, there's this interview. I downloaded the interview and I listened to it this morning. YouTube removed that interview 4 times. You know, and this interview was about these 2 doctors, and they were going off of facts and numbers they had for coronavirus, and they said that the way people are quarantining themselves, they're like, we don't know what the political agenda is, but the way people are staying in homes, that's really going to weaken their immune systems. you know. And after 2 months or 3 months of lockdown, once your immune systems are weak, and when you go back to like your workforce, or you go back to the gyms, or you go back to like, you know, parks and whatnot, and once you get exposed to like, you know, certain small viruses or illnesses, the widespread is going to be massive. Like a lot of people like who already have weak immune system, they're going to get affected even more. And that made a lot of sense, because if you're not exposed to different things, it's, I don't know, man, it's just going to be really bad. I didn't trust the governments to begin with, and this just proved my point. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is just so bad.
The thing too is, like, I feel like, let's be real, a lot of people that are at home aren't being as active as they should be either. So their immune systems aren't getting as strong as they could be either while they're at home.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I take my son on walks, like 45-minute walks every day, like for the past month.
Yeah.
And like, he touches everything, does everything, and nothing happened. Because thing is, like, Corona. Okay, I'm gonna share this link over here. I'm not sure. No, I'm not gonna share it. YouTube might ban the live streams.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. At one point, we're all gonna get it. I think that's the reality. It's just if our immune systems are gonna be good when we get it or not.
Yeah, like their facts were they used numbers, right? And the numbers they used was with like flu. They stated like with the flu, the chance of dying is 0.1% chance you're gonna die. You know, with coronavirus and the numbers they had, they're like there's a 0.04 or 5% chance you're gonna die. So their whole argument was that if you have such a low death rate, which is for people over 50 years old, you know, does that really constitute the idea of shutting down businesses? No, don't go to school, don't go to gyms, stay away from parks. Does that really make sense? That's what the argument was, you know. And I don't think that made such sense at all. The new Netflix documentary on coronaviruses, yeah, I think that's all propaganda. I have a buddy. He's in his third year of residency for neurosciences, and he said that every death that is happening in their hospital is being labeled as a COVID-19 death. Now, someone may have the virus, but that virus may not cause the death. You know, this is the thing. If someone dies with a heart attack, or if someone dies with something unrelated to COVID-19, right? They do their autopsies, and it may show up that okay, the person had COVID-19, but it wasn't active. That will be labeled as okay, like, you know what, this death was a COVID-19 death. Two reasons. One reason, they don't know why. The other reason is that some hospitals are not funded enough. So if they label that as COVID-19, then they get funded. Then they're like, okay, like, you know what, you guys are having a lot of cases, here's money. Here, fight with it.
I don't know. It's weird because like I have like my mom has friends in Italy, and it's like there's the way they describe the situation and stuff. Is like it's hard for them to get food right now and everything. Because like then there's people that are like waiting days for bodies to pick up because like frontline healthcare systems are like oversaturated and stuff.
Yeah, like it's nuts. It's nuts, man. I'm not sure what the agenda is. Like, they're destroying the oil companies, they're destroying businesses. I mean, I was talking to Ted yesterday, and we were like talking like, why is Walmart allowed to open and not places like Harry Rosen, you know, or Winners, or like, you know, some like stores like that? Why not? Because those are essentials too. Like, if you need
for clothing.
Yeah, exactly. So why are
Makes sense.
gym stores closed? You know, why can't people go buy weights?
I think now
because it's a shift of wealth. It's a shift of wealth. I don't want to sound like one of those. It just makes sense. Like, think about it. All these small businesses are going to close down, go bankruptcies. People who have serious cash are going to come in, swoop it up, rebuild it. It just makes sense. It's a shift of wealth. It's easy.
Man.
I'm telling you, the real estate market is going to take a hit in the next couple months, and all these investors are going to come in and buy all these properties, and then rent hike is going to go again. It's common sense.
Yeah.
No, for real. There's gonna be so many motivated sellers after this.
For sure.
I might be wrong, but they talk about this second wave, and I think this second wave is gonna come from the fact that people staying in quarantine for so long that their immune systems get so weak, and people who have even weaker systems, they get destroyed. So once they go back out, that's going to be the second wave where they just, like, if someone gets normal flu, it's going to be 5 times worse because they weren't exposed to all these things while they were in like lockdown. Wash your
True.
hands, wear gloves, like wear masks. Like, fuck, if you wear masks, you use your hand to take off the mask, then you use that hand to touch your face. It's still there. Like if you go to Home Depot, and you touch, let's say you go buy some plywood, you
Gang.
yeah, gang right here too.
Honestly, man, best tool, to be honest.
Yeah, like it's retarded, man. It's just so retarded.
I don't know, like it's like, are we waiting for precaution measures to like be put out for stores to like reopen? Like, it's only gonna be so long before people will just get fed up with like being inside, and not only just for being inside, but money wise too.
Yeah, I mean, now Sweden is one of the countries who didn't have any lockdown. They didn't have a lockdown. Maybe also because like they didn't have enough cases that they wanted a lockdown, but they didn't have a lockdown. France is opening, Denmark is opening, Netherlands is opening now soon. Quebec says, man, fuck this, let's open. They're French, they're crazy anyway. Texas is opening this weekend. So Canada, Trudeau just needs to grow some balls and just say like, hey, let's get back to work. Let's get the economy rolling. Hospitals are going to get overloaded with a lot of sick people. My buddy there, he says that their ICUs are empty. They got funded from, the reason hospitals wanted to get funded was to get ventilators. They got,
just in case.
Yeah, they got 15 ventilators, only 2 are being used, and those are being used with non-COVID related cases. And they're like, we're waiting for people to come in. There's no one here.
Yeah,
And
see, that's like where you don't know what to believe or not. See, like I don't like being in hospital, so my biggest fear is like getting it severely. Although I feel like I wouldn't, because I feel like I have a strong immune system. But my biggest fear is going to an oversaturated hospital with a bunch of people where they can't give me the care like I want.
I know, right? Like a normal person, they wouldn't even want to go to the hospital to get tested in fear of being tested positive for COVID-19. Like, look at the flu vaccine. Like, I've never taken the flu vaccine, ever.
Nope.
Never. I wash my hands. If I get the flu, after like a week, it's gone.
Yeah.
That's it. But if I...
no, sorry?
Yeah, but if I quarantine myself, that, it's October, it's the flu season, I'm not going to go out. And if I do go out after 2-3 months, I get the flu, it's going to be 10 times worse.
You know what? I never thought about that, but that makes a really good point. It makes a really good point.
Yeah, people that take every precaution to not get the flu, when they get it, they're sick for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, do you even have the flu? Like, maybe she could check out. That's how bad it is. Right? But people that get it every year or are out doing things. Like I work outside, so like when I get it, it lasts like a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work construction, so my immune
Exactly.
system's usually, I'm exposed to so much
Me too.
so much garbage. So it's like once I get I only get it from like around November, December, around there when it's like gets really cold. But
And people get the flu shot, I find, get it every year.
no, I don't think the flu shot.
No, I don't either. But I'm saying like the people that I know that like for their jobs, they're required because they're teachers.
Yeah.
They're required to get the flu shot. They get it. They get the flu as soon as they get the flu shot.
And people just need to have a good diet, stay active, and you'll be good.
Good immune system, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the one big example is now we go to Pakistan every year, right? and the water you drink there is not clean. I mean, it's clean, but it has a lot of stuff in it that will mess up your digestive system, right? So people who live there, they have no problem drinking that water because they're already exposed to it, right? So when we spend a year in Canada, it's like we're quarantining ourselves from that water. So when we go back, we always get the motions, diarrhea.
Yeah.
It always happens.
You don't
But-
take any vaccines or anything like that before you go?
Oh, it still happens. It still happens because the body has not had that water in it for so long. So that's the same thing as quarantining yourself from the outside environment.
Yeah,
It just,
for sure.
yeah, I don't know. It just makes no sense. It's
That's
just
actually true, man.
the media has really controlled people a lot, and it's just so sad.
Yeah, the fear mongering.
Whew.
It's real, man. If you don't have common sense during the situation, or like have like a way of taking a step back and just looking at the bigger picture, your mind is just going all over the place right now.
Yeah, the thing is, I was reading this one article, and they were saying that if you tell a lie so big for so long, eventually people are going to start to believe it.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened. Like for the past 2 months, all we've heard is COVID-19, COVID-19. These big advertisements of this little ball, germ ball, going around. Oh, that's the COVID.
And the thing is, the people that believe it, that like aren't looking at it the way we are in more numbers. So the influence is higher around that area than how we see it.
Yeah, like I haven't worn mask or I haven't worn gloves at all. I'm just living my daily normal life. Like the only problem I'm having with life is lines at Walmart or for groceries or stuff like that.
You know what, man? Go to Chinese supermarkets. I went. I'm not even kidding. I went yesterday, and the lineup was like I was in and out within 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, because they don't care. They're like, come on,
Yeah.
hurry up.
No, like, and people weren't going either. I don't know. And the food there is fresh, like crazy.
Yeah, like the other problem is like we go to our local markets here, right? And the funny thing is the local like the Indo-Pakistani markets here, they're like very small from the inside. The aisles are very like congested, and you have to stand side by side to order meat and stuff like that. So people are forming 6 feet lines outside the store, but when you go inside, it's all like together. Like it doesn't make it.
It's true. It's true. Who knows what's in store, man, for the future?
Let's see if I can get this. What was this? Yeah, so it was Dr. Erickson, Dr. Dan Erickson from California. Yeah, this guy.
So I took a sell on USD CAD, like when it broke the low of the previous 4 hour. Then I closed. I got to like 7 pips, and then it went back up.
Oh yeah, because there's a 4-hour close with no wick at the bottom.
I just felt because like how it's been like 3 consistent 4-hour bearish candles. I thought it just pushed a little bit, get my 10 pips, leave close 75, but I got a bit greedy. Could have closed at 7 pips. Oh, I got my duck too.
Oh damn!
Yeah, this is my big boy.
That's a really big boy.
He's 95 pounds right now. I weighed him yesterday.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh, this is Malishka's dog.
That's so funny.
You see, mine got scared.
Yeah, he's only a year old. He's gonna be like 120 by the time he's fully grown.
There you go. Dog team. I see another one out there.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get my big boy.
Where's my dog? I don't have a dog.
You gonna get a pet?
Probably gonna get cats.
Cats? I don't like cats, man.
Really? We had 10 cats at one time.
No, I can't do. I find because the thing is, I go into the woods with my dogs too, and I go like alone. So he's like my companion and my guard, and I'm training him to be a canine dog too. Oh, that's a nice dog. He has a nice coat. Hey, Rakeel, so my biggest thing has been over trading, right?
Yeah.
So there's like last few weeks, there's been weeks that where it's like my losses are aren't consistent, and like I just started using the magic keys like last week, and like I'm still not haven't like got to a profitable week, but my losses have been like I guess consistent in the way they're managed. So I guess that'd be a good sign too, no?
Yes. Like if your losses are managed.
Yeah. Like I haven't had like consistent profitable trades, but I like my losses have been like they're small, like they're consistent losses in the same size, you know, like because they're like I've been managing them more. Like two weeks ago, like Monday, Tuesday, I had 3% gains, and then I'd have like let's say the next day would be a 6% loss. But now, like the week after, it was just consistent loss, like 2% loss, 2% loss.
Yeah, were you like so always like look at the chart and see how could you have taken the winning trade, right? Because like there's always something we miss, right? If you look at USD CAD here, right? So let's say we look at the USD CAD and the candle went up, and then you could say, okay, well maybe this candle closed with the wick at the bottom, so maybe it didn't really have enough range for the next candle to go down, so then you start looking. So it's always, I mean, if you have a loss, you're always looking to see. I mean, let's say if let's take this for example. So people took a sell here once the 15-minute candle closed bearish, right? So once this candle started to go up, some people closed 50%, some people held, some people still holding, So then you have to look to see that, okay, if I took a sell over here, how could I have waited more? Or how could I have taken the opposite trade? And then you go to the 30-minute chart, you're like, okay, well, maybe the 15-minute was a weak confirmation, and I could have waited for the 30-minute to close bearish, which it didn't. So then you take this information on to the next day, because, bro, the same thing is gonna happen over and over and over again. Like you must have noticed this by now.
No, yeah, for sure, sure.
So every loss you take is like you're always looking to see that, okay, how could I have taken the opposite trade, the winning trade? And then you start to map that out, because then that becomes a learning process. Because sometimes, you might not see something that you should have seen while you entered the wrong trade, right? So when you look at the loss, then you're like, okay, I know now. Then you start looking at things differently.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's something that helped me a lot.
I think one of the biggest tools is clearing your chart. That's been very helpful lately. Just stepping onto the chart and just cleaning it, like starting from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do too. I mean, every day I come on, even if I take like a loss, I'm going to remove everything from the chart, and then I'm going to reanalyze it to see that, okay, why did I do it? What did not see?
Rakeel, what's your like reservation on over back testing, or maybe not over back testing, but back testing maybe like daily, at least like a week's worth of trades?
I only back test like once a week, on Saturdays when I do simulations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, what about when you were just, your first year or two trading?
Oh, I never back tested.
Okay.
Now all my backtesting revolves around is watching my performance of the day. That's it. Like after we're done from this stream, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the stream and I'm going to really map out the trade I could have taken. So that's what I do now. Like if my week ends, I'm gonna go from Monday to Friday, and then I'm gonna go over everything. That okay, if I took a trade, if I took a win, how could I have made that win better? If I took a loss, how could I have made that loss into a win? So
Gotcha.
yeah, so like when you try to backtest the last month, 4 or 5 months, a year, that's all good, But like good backtesting is looking at how price is moving in the live market and taking notes. It takes days, it takes weeks to backtest. So then you can turn around and say, okay, like what, I spent the last month backtesting. Like right now, I'm proactively looking at US 30. I've been looking at US 30 like for the past week now, because I want to start trading US 30, and I know that I'm nowhere near experienced enough to trade US 30 because I haven't watched it enough. So if I go to the daily and if I start back testing the previous weeks and months, that will not help me. What's going to help me is after the stream looking at US 30 and looking to see that how could I have taken a trade in my session time, and then I'm going to make notes on it. And I'm going to continue to do that till by mid-May, till the end of May, to have some sort of a confident bias that okay, now maybe I can execute a trade on US 30.
So you're just gonna mark up this chart real quick, map out a trade of what you would have taken, and you do that repeatedly.
Yeah, so if I look at this here, right? So what I was looking at it before, I was like, okay, so we had news GDP right over here. So I was looking at to see that okay, maybe if it was forming support here, this could have given me an indication price is going to go up, which went up over here. But there was a lot of consolidation here, over here, over here. They have some sort of resistance, but then this candle broke above that resistance, and news came and it pushed it up. So this tells me that okay, if US 30 is trying to trend, if there's range to the left, maybe news is going to continue pushing it in that direction because it's known to really push, right? So I'm going to do this for the next 2-3 weeks. To me, that's proper backtesting.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, like it takes a lot of time to backtest. When someone says I did the previous 4 months of backtesting in 2 hours, like yeah, but like that's how will that help you in the live market? When you haven't watched the live market as it happens.
I remember you like a while ago you making a good point, like that back testing like on the simulator is good, but it doesn't mix well with your emotions like during live trading.
Yeah,
because you're not actually waiting the real time and stuff like that. Your patience levels aren't the same, I guess.
Yeah, like right now US 30 made a high, right? It made a high, it broke this resistance here. So I'm going to keep an eye on this for the next 2-3 hours, and I'm going to see if it's really going to respect it, create like a bullish candle to retest the high or not. I've looked at it for the past, I think, 6 days, and out of 6 days, it's done this 3 times. So I really want to spend time watching it to really come up with my own statistics that okay, like what, this happens most times than not, so that if it happens again, then I can say, oh hey guys, let's take a trade on this day.
So what I do to backtest is I'll go on a simulator and I'm trying to learn GJ back as much as I can. So I'm trying to backtest and simulate all of 2019, and I'm in March right now. But what I also do is I'll go on TradingView and do what you do basically, where you go back the last week and you're mapping out the trades you would have taken compared to the trades that you did take. And those are my 2 different ways of backtesting.
Yeah, that's still good, like working out the trades you could have taken.
Yeah.
Versus the trades you did take.
I think they both work.
Yeah.
The simulator just gets you used to being in a trade and kind of relaxing your emotions a little bit. Even though it's not real money, it still helps. But the more recent price action that you're going on TradingView, that definitely helps in the immediate time.
Yeah. Now when I look at GJ, I talked about this earlier too. I think this would have been a really good trade once it broke the high here.
Yeah.
So I've seen it before, I've traded this before, and for some reason, I think the reason I didn't take it because I already had profits from the sells.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
He did say that. It's like my trade was last night during London.
Yeah. How long would you? Yeah, what's that?
Oh, sorry. Can I add some input about like journaling and stuff? So I noticed I started journaling like 2 weeks ago, and I noticed after I take a trade, I'll write down like all my entire train of thought as to like why I took the trade, what I saw, and I've noticed a lot of the trades, or some of the trades I've taken are trades that I shouldn't have ever taken. So it's like if you write down what you were thinking for that trade, and there's trades where I'll straight up call myself an idiot that I even took this trade, because there's nothing good I could write about that trade. And I look back at it like at the end of the week, and I notice, and I come to the conclusion that certain trades you just genuinely shouldn't be taking. So I feel like that would minimize a lot of your losses. And then you have those trades that actually worked out well, so you could show yourself why you took that trade, and those are your certain trades that you enjoy taking. Like Raja's, hits a support or resistance and then forms a support, and that's where he always takes his entry, and that's his like go-to trade. Then you find your own go-to trade, and you find out how you could have made those trades better. Maybe if you see like the next rejection is 7 more pips away, maybe you could have grabbed a little bit more, or you saw your runner, or you like closed your runner early, and you noticed that you could have left your runner at break even, and you had the ability for it to push up. Or if you saw a rejection, maybe you close out your runner early to get the to maximize your profits.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's true. And like the same thing, I used to do that too. I used to always, at first, I never used to let runners run because I would always say that, oh man, the runners get stopped out, like, whatever. But then there were times when runners did run, so then I said, okay, well, why not I just keep them running? And the main thing is never get disheartened when the runner gets stopped out. Because if you're letting runners run 10 times, I think 6 or 7 times they will get stopped out, but there's still that little chance that it may keep on running. So those are where you get your big wins. I have a guy here in my group, Ryan. He would always let 20% of his runners run, and whenever his runners would run, they would go in more profits than the positions he would close. Like let's say if he had a 1 lot and he closed, let's say 0.8 at like 15 pips, his 0.2 would go in profits more than he would have closed at 0.8. Now, if that makes sense or not.
Yeah, and I think the good thing about journaling and understanding your train of thought, like I have a problem with executing where I want to. I sent a picture earlier, and one of my big problems is like I'll have an analysis and I don't follow through with it, and it's a winning analysis, and sometimes I'll take a trade a little bit later on, which results in a loss. Earlier I grabbed that GJ sell, ended up grabbing 10 pips off it, but I had like 3 other areas where I wanted to take a sell where I would have won earlier and had runners running. So I've noticed writing or journaling those trades and understanding where I could have went right, it gives you a better entry for that runner to have more succession, right? So if you were to get like, a later entry, it gives your runner more of an ability to hit that stop loss because you don't have that break even stop loss at a good area. And that has a lot to do with just putting stop losses in certain areas in general.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess I'm gonna head off over here. We had a pretty lengthy, interesting session here today. All right.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you,
Have
Rakeel.
fun.
Have a good day.
Bye, Rakeel.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Bye.
Good one. Stay safe.
Adios.